they literally have only 3 or 4 months to race. So, yeah, there's tracks up north where you could race on a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, a Friday night, a Saturday night. It just, I don't know, Brian, what's the concept of people thinking in the South that they got to race on Friday and Saturday? And I'm glad that Michael Diaz decided to do a Sunday summer show.
Yeah, I'm originally from Long Island. I grew up racing at back home at the old Dillner track there at Riverhead Raceway is where I'm from. But, I grew up there, but a lot of racing with the family at Stafford and Thompson and Waterford and Wall. And you go racing on a Wednesday night. You got to get it done in the summer. You don't got much time, like you said. But I'm not opposed to racing any day of the week. If I can get off of my day job and I can be at the track, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be ready for it.
Absolutely. And, of course, again, Seekonk Speedway in Seekonk, Mass. is going to be on tonight's program for Summer Thunder TV on Speed 51. And, Seekonk Speedway is special to me because obviously I'm a Southern boy. I know I'm a Southern boy, but my mom is a Yankee. She was born in Rhode Island, and my family from up north on my mom's side are Northerner people. My daddy's from the South, from Alabama. But my grandpa, God rest his soul, he used to race at Seekonk Speedway. So Seekonk, cool. Mass tonight on Speed 51 Network. And I got a love for all you Northern people, man. Like I told Mike Kimball or Matthew Kimball this morning, I'm a fan of all of I love going up north. I love being able to travel up there when I can. And it's been probably about 5 years since I've been to Loudon, New Hampshire. But you guys are just awesome people up there. And I think the reason why is you're reserved, you're laid back, and you love racing. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from people in the South, but you guys love racing. You're not against racing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night if you have to.
No, absolutely. There's big names in the South that I was blessed and honored enough to share the track with this week. The names in the North go on and on. Everybody knows the Flemke name and the Christopher name and the Tom Baldwin name. Those are big names in the North.
That's right.
It's a whole East Coast of who's who. And I've just been blessed to be able to race with a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I think of Mike Stefanik. I think of the late Ted Christopher. I think of George Brownhosel. I said that one perfectly.
Yes, you did.
Those guys. I mean, it's just amazing. The Northern drivers, Northeast drivers, New England drivers, as you say. Again, props to your success. Man, what's it like, though, racing at Southern National from the nighttime to the daytime on the high banks? Does it remind you a lot of the Thanksgiving Classic with just a lot of heat?
It was definitely hot. I've gotten into a really good regimen. I'd like to give a shout out to Landon Castle for helping me out there. But definitely got into a good regimen of pre-hydrating before the races. Awesome. As much as I'd like to be working on the cars, crack a beer during the week, I've focused on electrolytes and hydration for myself. Keeps you focused in the car. It's more than just holding the steering wheel, this motorsports game. You got yourself, keeping yourself in shape, the motorsports marketing game. It's a wicked deal that never stops. And the more I can be prepared and the harder I can work, I feel that I'll continue to put up results like this.
Yeah, that's kind of like us announcers, Brian. We have to take care of our instruments as well. We eat good meals at nighttime, but then we try to go to the gym and burn it off so we don't get so big, But no. I drink the electrolytes. I'm a big fan of a Body Armor. I become a big fan of Body Armor, that drink. I'm not trying to plug them because they don't sponsor me. But I used to drink Gatorade. I like Powerade. I lay off of the sodas. I think I drink more soda during the wintertime than I do during the racing season. Bottled waters, ginger ale, the Powerade drinks and things like that. And you got to take care of yourself, like you said. People think you just climb in, put on the helmets, put on the suit, and climb and drive a race car. If you're not physically fit, it's like I tell people, these drivers of NASCAR go through rigorous doctor testing and physical testing. The same thing with you guys. If you're not healthy, if you're not mentally mindset enough, that just sets up for crazy things to happen. So you got to have your mind, body, soul, everything correct when you climb behind the wheel of those race cars.
That's true, man. You mentioned the mental part. When I lined up there during the race, and I had Philip Morris to my outside and Peyton Sellers behind me, Stacy Freer in the front of me. That's a mental game right there for an underdog like me to be sitting on the grid with them guys and then have to go out and pass them. So mental is definitely a big part, and even the mental part of being in the car, we have a temperature gauge, a thermometer that we leave by the floorboard, and it reaches up at about 140 degrees during the race. So it's hot, it's crazy. You got a lot of thinking, and you need cat-like reflexes. But that's why we love this game. Absolutely. That's why every single one of us loves this game.
I can't believe you used cat-like reflexes. It should have been dog-like reflexes, Underdog.
Hey, I don't discriminate against cats or dogs. But I hear you.
Brian Obajinsky joins us, Underdog. Man, just talk about the setup for this big win on Sunday. And obviously, I know that's got to give you a lot of momentum going into the summer and the fall months ahead for big races for Southern National.
Yeah, like I said, I went into the year not knowing when our son was going to be born, and we actually had a rain out earlier this year that was nearly hours away from when Grayson was brought to us here. So we caught a good one. The big man was on our side, even though I know we wanted to go racing. We avoided that, so we don't have to worry about points. We're going to go to the track. We're going to have fun. We're going to put on a show for the fans. We're going to represent Southern National, the greatest track in my mind in the South. And we're just going to keep fighting one race at a time and see where we end up. Because at the end of the day, we're in this to have fun. And I've always told the little bit of help that I do have, if we're not having fun, we're not going to the track.
Yeah, you got to have fun doing what you're doing. If you don't have fun, what's the hell's the purpose of doing it? Bottom line, I mean, so big props to you. By the way, Southern National this year, plagued with rainouts just like every other racetrack in the country. How have you guys, if asphalt race teams, adapted and just pressed on to keep going for a championship?
Well, we're currently in the middle of a transition of rules package to begin with, so. Right. The track's been a little bit different handling-wise for everybody. Mike Diaz has stepped up and put together the best rules package in NASCAR Division I when you talk about carburetors, when you talk about weight and engines, and the tire package has been the big thing at Southern National for everybody this year. You go to the track, you pay a $150 entry fee, and that covers your tires.
Wow.
He's only paying out the top 5 finishers. But when you think about it, the math adds up. The racer does not need to come to the track with $1,500 in his pocket to buy tires and to buy fuel. He can come on a budget. He can run with the best of the best in short track racing, and he can go home and still be able to afford it and afford his normal bills. Because most of the guys that are out there are just normal run-of-the-mill guys that love to go racing.
That's
and
right.
It's an expensive sport. So what he has done has, like you said before, outside the box, he has changed the game for short track racing.
And you know what? Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to disrespect the promoters out there or anything. You think about his race cars. Brian, how much retail value do you have in your race car? About $50,000, $60,000?
It's I try not to think about that, Wesley.
Okay.
Somewhere in the ballpark
price
there.
range, exactly.
Yes, sir.
So by the time you put on a race, let's say the Thanksgiving Classic, it pays $15,000 to win or $10,000 to win. Okay?
$30,000 to win the Thanksgiving Classic.
$30,000 to win. There you go. So now he's jumped into the board of competing against all the big Martinsville and Orange County names. So $30,000 to win. Okay, even if it's $30,000 to win, that's still $50,000 less of what it costs for a car and a motor or an engine to race.
Yep.
So
that's right.
If you go to do these car store events or you have 5,000 to win, 10,000 to win races, if you win the race, yeah, I mean it's all great, the hype, the prestige, all that, but the $10,000, do you put it right back into your race car. You put it right back into your race team, into your program. So it's like, yeah, it's great to win those races, but we're doing this because we love it, because it's fun. We're not doing it because we're trying to cash in.
And that's what I always tell everyone, potential sponsors and people looking to help.
Right.
We're not in this for the money. I'm there to go racing because it's a passion. Our budget is laid out at the beginning of the year. It's shoestring. We try and stay to those guidelines, and any bit of money that we do recap has already been spent 3 months ago. So It's not about the finances. It's about flipping those switches, putting the window nets up, giving your guys on your team a hug before you get in the car, and just seeing what kind of talent you've got to shake up against the competition.
That's exactly right. And I've said this, Brian Obajinsky joining us on the program, there are so many competitive, successful, great drivers in grassroots racing, asphalt, dirt. late models, super trucks, even 4-cylinders that I feel could be NASCAR drivers, but because of the money and because of not getting the breaks that I think they deserve, they'll never get that shot. Brian Obajinsky joins us here on Finish Line. Final question for you, Brian, because we got Jolyn Wilkinson coming up. Where did the nickname Underdog come from?
You know, that literally has only been around for merely a week or two. Everything's always gone by Obi, but the underdog thing came through after the first couple of races when we were out there looking at the competition, and me and my guys kind of looked at each other and knew we had something. But after you run in the top 10 a couple times and you're working your butt off and it starts getting hot, you look at each other sometimes like, wow, that fella just laid down a blistering lap. What are we doing out here? Did we make the right choice? But yes, we did, because we're having fun. So the underdog came up because my crew chief decided we needed something to kind of spice it up a little bit. Let's up the ante. And we came up with the underdog deal. We literally hung them up in our trailer when we got to the track on Saturday. I posted a picture of them on my social media a couple hours before we got to the track. And I said, this will be fun. We'll roll with underdog for the week. About 6 hours later, I'm standing in victory lane talking to Andy Marquis in race 22. And, it's just one of those Cinderella stories. It's not supposed to happen to guys like me, but I'm a firm believer that if you're prepared and you work harder than the next guy, you can make it happen. You can follow any dream that your mind can come up with. You just got to work to it, man. That goes to all the little kids that come to the track. I was there. I was holding the fence, watching my heroes growing up on Long Island, and all I wanted to do was just get in a car, let alone go and start racking up wins, up and down the East Coast. I never would have guessed it, but here we are, following a dream, and this dream led me to the Finish Line podcast this week, so I think we got a goal accomplished.
And by the way, Brian Obajinsky, that name has been at Southern National for many, many years. I mean, hell, I remember that name when I was a kid because you were running 4-cylinder cars.
Yes, sir. I had a good run at Southern National for a while, running for Richard Aliff. We went out to Ace Speedway, won 10 out of 12 in 2015 when Brad Allen was running the track out there, and Tyler Williams, good crowd of fellas out there. And I was given the chance to jump in a car, full-size car. I had driven some back in my younger years, but jumped in the car, made the most of the opportunity, and just kept taking one baby step at a time, just within my means, trying to make it to the top. And if I never make it to the top, I'm absolutely humbled and excited with what I have done in my career of 20 years in racing.
Well, Brian, you are the man, buddy. Brian Obajinsky, not Obadinsky, Obajinsky, underdog. Thanks for being on the Finish Line, brother. I appreciate it. Thank your sponsors real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could. Captain Ron DuPont, David West, and John West from John West Racing Engines, the best horsepower in the business.
All right,
Deke
buddy.
McCaskill, absolutely a role model. Baby Moon Cafe, Zip Air Tools, my wife, Ready Roofing, Aviator Brewing Company, Torque Chassis, Shamel Racing, Max Pappas Innovations, and AR Bodies. It's a long list, but it takes a village, man.
No, I completely got it. And some of those names you mentioned, Mac Pappas, Dick McCaskill, awesome people I know in the racing industry, and it's awesome that they're helping you along the way. Underdog, congratulations on your win at Southern National. Maybe I'll see you somewhere sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity today, Leslie.
Yes, sir. Underdog. Brian Obajinsky, not Obadinsky. I said D, but it's Obajinsky winning here, joining us on Finish Line. We are going to go quickly to a quick timeout, and we will join. No. This is what we're going to do. Producers, we are going to play our commercials at the end of the show.
This is Finish Line.
One more segment left to go. Hey, if we go a couple of minutes after 1 o'clock, it's okay. I think if we go about 5 minutes over, we'll be okay. But we're getting ready to go right back to the phone lines. It is Finish Line on Fox Sports Radio, Community Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes Radio, TuneIn, Spotify, and Spreaker. I'm Wesley Outland, your host. We've had some awesome guests on the program with the men. Now it's time for the ladies to join us on the program. And she will be our final guest. If we go a couple of minutes after 1 o'clock, it's okay. We've had a crazy, crazy day today. A lot of guests on the program, and we've been trying to rock and roll and knock them in and knock them out as fast as we can. And we go quickly back to the phone lines like we have joined Matthew Kimball, Corey Almond, Kelley Carlton, Ryan Montgomery, and Brian Obajinsky. Now we join the lady. Yes, they should say ladies first, and I was going to have her on first, but I think it just worked out better to have her for last. I've watched this young lady build up her resume, her career from racing go-karts to now running late models. Back in April at Five Flags Speedway, she was in a horrific crash, had to be sidelined, rushed to the hospital, had to go through medical treatments and everything to build up her body and her courage and getting back in the race car. And after her second week returning, she goes to victory lane at Huntsville, Alabama Speedway. She joins us now on Finish Line, driver of the car number 11 from Hueytown, Alabama. Good morning, JoLynn Wilkinson, a.k.a. JoJo. How you doing, young lady?
I'm good. How are you?
It is so good to talk to you. I know I talked with you with my colleague and friend Bob Dillner on Morning Bull Ring on Monday, but this is my show. This is my show. I get to ask a lot more. I get to ask a lot more questions.